What were some moments where you really felt like you were living in God's authority?
One of my favorite stories, I like to tell this, was when I was, years ago, I was in India, and we were doing an evangelistic campaign, and this little girl, she's about 12, comes walking over and she says, "Can you pray for my dad? He's sick."
Yeah.
And I say yes, and then she ran off, so I ran after her to go with her to her dad, but I thought the dad was there.
Yeah.
And we ended up in the middle of a dark forest, and all I knew was following the little girl because I didn't know how to get back. But we come to this little hut. It's about this high. That was their house. It was an L-shaped hut. And she goes, "Okay, my daddy's in there. He can't talk and he can't walk."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, I have no idea." And I get in, and there's a mom on the far end of the hut on that side, and she's cooking over a fire. And then it goes like this, and there's a guy on a kind of a bed, and he looks like a bag of bones, like it's all skin and bones, and he has all his gods around him. So I'm standing by the bed like this because the house is small, and she translates me. She doesn't speak English, and she says because she went to a missionary school. And as I look at the gods, I look at him and I go, "Are those your gods?" And he goes, "Yeah." He knocks, right? He can't talk. And then I say, "Well, you know your daughter serves another god?" And she translates, and he's like, and I said, "Well, I come in the name of the God your daughter serves. And you should get up and walk."
Yeah.
And I had just so much faith. And he literally stood up, and the little girl's looking at her dad like, "This is incredible."
Wow.
And then I tell him to come, and we walk around, and his wife sits behind the pot cooking on a fire going, and I tell the girl, "Tell your mom to feed him." So she gives food, and he's eating. And as he stands there, I go, "Would you like to serve the God of your daughter?" And he goes like this. And I said, "Well, Jesus is jealous. You will have to get rid of all the other ones, burn them, throw them away, and you can only have him. You can't just add him to the group. You want that?" And he goes, "Yeah." And then I said, "Okay, then pray with me, repeat this." And she goes, "My dad can't talk." I said, "Your dad also couldn't walk."
Yeah.
So I tell him, and he repeated the prayer, gave his life to Jesus. And yeah, I think that was one of those moments. The moment I walked in that hut, I looked at those guys and I think they're all false, but our God is alive, and I'm a son. So that was one of my favorite stories because I didn't even pray. It was so real there that I said, "Just get up and walk," and it happened, right? So, and I think that's the authority available in the Lord.